Crabman here from Crabman Gaming. Today we are playing Cricket Captain 2020. This is the final part of the Australia save, part 15. And today we are playing the Test Championship final, which will be contested between England, or not England, but contested in England between Australia and India. Now this is the first time this is being played. Obviously in real life this would be happening here in June 2021. So I've been trying to read up on the rules as well. I haven't quite nailed down exactly what happens in the event of a draw, but we'll see what happens. This is just a one-off test today. Now, okay, Nathan Ellis is in the squad. Gee, he's had a good season. I kind of want the same players as I did last year, though. Don't really want Pattinson. Green was in and around the side. Carey was my keeper, Head Smith, and let's see who I had last year in the team. Nick Maddison's I'm going to bat him at 6. Labuschagne not even in the squad. Bit unlucky. Oh, a broken finger. Oh, that I didn't see how long it was until the game started. Do you know what? I'll pick him anyway, and I'll just pick a spare batter as well. I might pick Maxwell as my spare batsman, and the bowlers I think will just have Hazelwood, Lyon, Cummins, Stark are my bowlers. Green's probably not going to play, and Labuschagne will play. If not, I will play Maddison and Maxwell as my batsmen. Okay, let's just have a look though at first class last year. Did anyone really impress? Oh, Bancroft did a good job. He's just a bit slow. Yeah, no one really screaming out for selection. Yep, let's pick him anyway. Oh, I can't pick him. Oh, okay. Well, that's a bit of a problem. So Labuschagne is out. And that would mean we're going to play Maddison and Maxwell. Maybe I'll pick a spare batsman. Gee, it's tough because he did average under 40. Alright, maybe let's look at Korea. Might just put Kawaj. Oh, I don't know. This is so difficult to choose someone in. Let's pick Bancroft. He did get the most runs. Okay, and we'll go Warner, Burns, Smith, which means someone's going to have to move up to 4. Maxwell will be in as well, and let's set up the bowlers. So this is the Test Championship final, and really my thoughts were, if it's a draw, is it the team who finished higher that wins the trophy or wins the championship, or does it go on first innings? Not really sure. So here were the standings at the end. So Australia 15 wins, 3 losses, 1 no result. India 12 wins, 6 losses. They won 4 of their last 5 matches against England to sneak into second place over New Zealand. So rules doesn't really tell me much here. And let's go to June 1st. Oh, abandoned. Hopefully there's not too much rain around. So Australia ranked number 1 in the world, plus they did finish on the top of the rankings here. I wonder if it will tell us the rules. And I believe it's 5 days, just like a normal test match, really. Let's get this squad. I'm going to get Green out of there, even though he did bat okay. I might get Maxwell. I might have Maddison at 5. What's Head doing at 3? It's because I don't have Labuschagne. Do you know what? I might bat Maddison at 3. Maxwell's good at 6. Head, Carey, Cummins, let's open with. Hazelwood and Stark. That looks like a pretty solid lineup. I've been trialing Cam Green out in a few games. Pitch looks pretty decent. Let's start off. Oh my goodness, this is just really interesting. Some of the game selections sometimes, because you definitely wouldn't be picking 2 debutants in the Test Championship final, but that's what the game's done. So let's have a look at the Indian lineup. You got Rohit Sharma, Agarwal opening the batting, Vihari at 3, Virat Kohli 4, Shreyas Iyer 5, Risbah Pant at 6, And then 2 players I don't know here. Looks like Bourne and Chahar. And then Jasprit Bumrah at 9, Mohammad Shami and Kundu round out the 11. So they've got just 4 bowlers. Like, we have 4 bowlers along with Glenn Maxwell. The toss is going to be really important. That's going to make it exciting. We have lost the toss. We will bowl. Generally, if you win the toss, if you rack up a good score, the game can fade out pretty quickly. All right, we might keep highlights on for the whole bowling innings. It's just going to be this game today. Let's see if we can have a look at the rules. I don't know where the rules have gone in options. No, I don't know where they go. Playing conditions? I'm sure you could check the rules out somewhere in the game. Oh, that's what you do. You can change this for run rate. Haven't done that for a while. All right, let's not worry about it. Let's just try and win the game normally. We're going to kick off first over of the World Test Championship final. I'm calling it the World Test Championship final. It's the Test Championship final. Australia versus India. Let's get it underway with a tidy over from Mitchell Starc. Let's get a little bit more aggressive, but you have to be very careful against India because they're very aggressive and they can get away very quickly. I know I've got lots of Indian followers who are highly anticipating this match, are very keen to see India do a little bit better than they did in the 4-match series where Australia were victorious. And India played really well in the first 3 matches. They played well in 3/4 of the match, but would just let themselves down with a batting collapse or 2. Agarwal's gone. He's snicked off. Hazelwood's got the first wicket of the Test Championship. This kind of reminds me of, you may remember, I think it was, oh, what a catch. I'm trying to remember if it was 2005 or 2006. I think it was 2005 was the ICC Super Series between Australia and the rest of the world. And the idea was that the number 1 ranked team would play a team made up of the rest of the world. The problem was Australia had just lost to England in the Ashes, so they weren't really the best team in the world. They were still ranked number 1. And they played a rest of the world team, and they were victorious, and then played 3 one-day internationals against the rest of the world team, and won every single match quite convincingly. So the format was quietly shelved and never really spoken about again. There's a great catch. Kohli's gone. He's edged off to Pat Cummins. Pat Cummins, what a star. He's gone for just 5. It's Virat Kohli, and India in a little bit of early trouble at 3 for 64. I'll try and focus on the game as it's just 1. Here's Cummins again to Shreyas Iyer. It's got through. Not me waffling on about a series from time gone by. 3 for 77. Shreyas Iyer in with Vihari. I've actually bowled line quite a lot in this first session. I probably didn't mean to. I'm going to keep the quicks on for a little bit as well. Or just down leg side. No reviews. If you're watching, I wonder if you have been also following the England-West Indies test. It's been great to see some test cricket back on TV. I've been having a little bit of watch of that as well. And it's set up beautifully for day 5. England with just 2 wickets left and about 165, 170 runs ahead. So that's set up for a thrilling day. All right, let's head the pace bowlers on 1 minute before. Might just get Maxwell in just for this last over before lunch. Or it could work out. Could be a master stroke. Around the wicket, that's Plum. That's hit him on middle. Hitting middle. Glenn Maxwell, what a bowling change. What a master stroke of captaincy. Get Glenn Maxwell on from around the wicket. Just like Crabman was bowling yesterday. Despite not feeling well, I did get myself out for a game. And did take a wicket. It was a pretty comprehensive victory for my side, so I didn't really have to do much. Roll down a couple of overs for the victory. But I did snare 1 wicket and had two catches dropped, but I'll forgive my teammates, as you do. Okay, 4 for 102, India into the first break. Probably not ideal for them. Not probably, definitely not ideal. They need a good partnership here They've got Pant and Iyer, and then some random... Well, Indian fans, you'll probably know who he is, but I'm not very familiar with Bourne here, as he's never played any international cricket. And then Chahar, who's played one T20 as well as a leg spinner. Pretty good average. So they got a 21-year-old leggy. And then Bumrah, obviously fast, Shami fast, and Kundu, another spinner. So they've gone with 2 spinners, which he has played a little bit of Test cricket, but again, not really familiar with him either. Alright, Stark's being smashed all over the park. Pat Cummins, let's get him back on. It's a good fight back. It's a good fight back from India. They need to make this game challenging, or make this game exciting. It's down leg side. Come on, Paddy. Oh, that's plum. Shreya's Iyer is gone. Good thing we don't have the Richards umpiring. They've had a shocking game with England versus West Indies with these LBW decisions. They maybe needed a couple of days to warm up themselves. Pat Cummins doing a great job. It's a bit of a waft. Let's give him one more over. India still ticking along at a good pace. They're never slow, India. It's not like the India of the 90s where they would bat quite conservatively. It is a new age India of very aggressive batsmen, which is really exciting to see, and also developing through a few quick bowlers as well. As for a while, India had a lot of very, very good spinners, and really, I remember Zaire Khan was one of their pace bowlers, and then their pace bowlers tended to struggle overseas as well. Let's get Stark on, and I'll get Maxwell on. 5 for 215, so pretty good fight back. Not too bad indeed. Oh, as an edge. 5 for 239, so a couple of good partnerships here. 86 between Pant and Bourne. Despite me not knowing who he is, he's been doing a good job. Gee, Risbar Pant. Gee, he bats aggressively. It's frustrating. He's turned up in the last over, 101. How many? That is his 3rd Test century. Can really take the game away from you very quickly. All that's LB. It's just grazing leg stump. Yes, it's been given. Probably a bit unlucky, Risbar Pants. Probably just grazing the leg stump. It is. Probably umpire's call on the DRS. He's gone for a very well-made 102. And Chahar really has an important job to do. He's got a good first-class average of nearly 25. But then there's not much to come after that. Still surprised that Bumrah is batting ahead of Mohammad Shami, but he certainly is. Maybe he's been showing something in the nets that we haven't seen. Oh, he's gone straight through. Cummins through Chahar. And now we are into the tail. I'll give Mitchell Stark one more and then bowl Lyon from the other end. Oh, gee. Smashed for 14. So we probably don't really have to worry about this game going to a draw, because India have scored 300 in 2.5 sessions, and Australia look like they'll get to bat. That looks out as well. Is that 5 wickets for Pat Cummins? Oh, must just be missing leg. Oh, it is only just. Good call from the umpire. Jasprit Bumrah really needs to dig in, help his partner. .300. Oh, let's give Maxwell another one. G12. Is that his highest Test score? Nope, he's got 25. No, yeah, let's take it straight away. Pat Cummins pretty tired though. Let's get Hazelwood in. And Cummins and Stark. Oh, it's a big Hit into the outfield to deep square leg. He's caught. Glenn Maxwell's got him. Safe pair of hands, Glenn Maxwell. He doesn't put down many. Hazelwood gets his first wicket of the innings. And now the two tail enders in. How long can they hang on for? Well, that's down leg. We need to get... Stark needs to be bowling full. He has gone for 100 runs. He hasn't gone for 100 runs too often in this series. Through Bumrah, who made a very handy 19. Kundu, he must not be too great with a bat if he's batting 11. Clean bowl by Stark. 4 for 100. That helps his figures out when you get a couple of late wickets. So we'll go through the innings at the end of the day. Australia have 1 over to bat. Hopefully no one gets out. Okay, the end of day 1. There was a very exciting day 1 in the Test Championship final. India all out for 324 in 86 overs. Rohit Sharma a very quick 37. There was a little bit of a top order collapse before Shreyas Iyer made another quick 54. Risbah Pant really saved the innings with a magnificent 102 off 120 balls, well supported by Bourne with 53. Bumrah a very, very handy 19 down the bottom. And onto the Australian bowling lineup. Mitchell Starc, 23 overs, 2 maidens, 4 for 100. A couple of late wickets helping his figures. Hazelwood, 1 for 79. Cummins really did the damage early on, 4 for 71. Lyon, no wickets for 62. Hopefully he can get some wickets in the second innings. And Glenn Maxwell got a wicket just before lunch, and he took 1 for 10. So all out, 324. Australia survived the 1 over before the end of play. There's no rain inside. It's looking great. Let's stick the highlights on for... We might just keep them on for this session. And what I'm going to look to do as well, beautiful shot down the ground from Joe Burns, is... I think Joe Burns got the most runs last year for Australia as well. He had the highest aggregate of any player, which I went through at the end of my last video. That's a great third over off Bumrah. I'm not going to look to be too aggressive because we can bat, if possible, for quite a number of days. We don't need to rush. We can just take our time and see what happens. There's 2 spinners. Kohli's had an over. They always bowl the seamer before the 15th over, which I don't really understand why, but they've got a couple of spinners. Now Kundu is a little bit more economical, and I've forgotten who the other spinner is, but he's a leg spinner. His economy is a little bit higher. Chahar's economy is a little bit higher. We'll just keep the highlights on until lunch, and we'll see how we're going. So Australia, and you got this ball tracker. I probably should leave this on. This is what I was looking for before, this ball tracker. Sometimes that's interesting. But we'll keep the run rate on. I don't mind if it's a little bit slower than what's been quite slow here. The spinners have tightened things up. Chahar with a long hop to Burns. Nearly got caught at mid-on. It's the first boundary in a while. So you can have a look here on the balls list. There's lunch on day 2. Australia, none for 83 off 32 overs. Warner and Burns just digging in. We might just make them a little bit more aggressive. We'll turn the highlights off and we'll see. But Kundu and Chahar bowled 17 overs for 27. So they didn't go for too many before the break. Maybe, there's Warner with his 50. Cut away or driven away through the covers for 4. He makes a 50 in this World Test Championship final. Joe Burns makes a 50. Just dabs it away on the offside off Kundu, who looks like he's going to bowl the majority of the overs unchanged. Wish there was one where you could just have highlights for like milestones for 50s and 100s, because I like watching them if I can. Sorry I missed Risbah Pants 100, but sometimes they just squeeze through. Alright, Shami on. This is a really good opening stand. Just as I say that, Warner gets out. Nick Maddinson comes in. He filled in for the injured Dave Warner. for a couple of tests against South Africa. He's retained his place. And then Maxwell's come in because Labuschagne is injured. Joe Burns again doing a great job. Let's put highlights on, get ready for Joe Burns' 100 if he gets it. Oh, Maddison snick one behind, keeping India in the game. 2 for 202. In comes Steve Smith. Test batting average 63 last year. He continued that on with an average of 66. So he kept his good form going. Joe Burns on 98. Chahar rips him a good leggy. Smashed it for 6 to bring up his 100. Very bizarre way to bring up your 100 in Test cricket. A big cut over the offside. Joe Burns gets another 100. He's up to Test 100 number 7. He did a great job last year as well. There we go. 1,200 runs at 61. You can't fault him at all. Alright, Australia looking to grind in a little bit slower than the Indians. But 2 for 221. Just one off the Richie Beno special of 2 for 222. Kundu with the 2 wickets. And he might be looking for another 2 here too. Joe Burns pushing on. Smith out for just 7. This wicket looks like it's taking some spin. Travis Head comes in. He was very solid last year. Burns looks like he's set to bat the whole day. No risks here from the Australians. The second new ball is due. They'll probably wait a couple of overs to take it. They do. So they can have 40 minutes with it this evening. I'm just going to pull back. Bumrah's been quite expensive. Well, so has Shami, but he's just had the 11 overs. Just look to survive the day. Australia do. It's 3 for 304. Kundu with the 3 wickets. Burns bats the whole day for 159 not out. And he's not going to be in any rush tomorrow at all. He's just going to grind away. Australia reached a lead. Head's gone for 53. And in comes Glenn Maxwell. Yeah, test average under 30. He keeps threatening to make some runs and averaged in the mid-30s last year. Wasn't quite enough to keep him in the team. But maybe the Test Championship final is his day. Kundu still the best of the Indian bowlers. Again, some interesting selection. So if you're following along, I will be playing an all-time India game tomorrow. And then afterwards, I'll be playing through India. So maybe I can make a few better selections than what's happened here. Australia 4 for 398. Gee, Bumrah none for 119. He's gone the journey. Did I put the highlights on? I'm not really sure why I did that. Oh, I did for Joe Burns 200. We're going to stay with him, see if he can get to... There's another 6. Oh, no, it's 4. 197 for Burns. Can he get another Test 100? He's got one already. Oh, it's a no ball. Oh, it's Maxwell anyway. 198. Does have a 205 against Bangladesh. That was in the very first video. Oh, no. It's Maxwell again. Anxious that Joe Burns got out. But very well made 46 from Glenn Maxwell. Still only 87 ahead. So if they can take these last 5 wickets quite cheaply, they're still in the game, India. That last Test match I played... Here's the double 100 for Joe Burns. I'll finish that off in a minute. Raise the bat, Joe Burns. He's at the other end. He's at the striker's end. I'll raise it for him. 200 for Joe Burns. Let's have a look. He's got 205 against Bangladesh and now a double century against India. Magnificent innings. One of my favourite players, Joe Burns. Just really underrated as a batsman. I did make 500 in the Australia vs India Test series and lost. So don't write off the Indian batters because they can put on a huge score. Carey's gone for just 1. And again, if they can take 4 quick wickets and just be 100 behind, then anything can happen. Pat Cummins just bats so slow, so frustrating. It's the highest score so far. Let's get Joe Burns a little bit more aggressive. He's faced 400 deliveries. There's Stark on as well. This is what I was worried about. Losing wickets at the end. Nathan Lyon trying to dig in for a few. I'm not going to worry about protecting Burns. If he gets out last, he gets out. It's just the way it is. chipping in. Oh, good last little wicket stand. Burns continues on. He's carried his bat. He has. What a magnificent innings. Australia finally out. All out for 483. Lead by 159 runs. Joe Burns in the Test Championship final carries his bat for a magnificent 230. The 2 sixes, one of those was to get his 100. He batted for a colossal 10 hours. Everyone, well not everybody, but a few players chipped in for the Australians. 71 for Warner, 24 for Madison, Smith 7, Head 53. Good support along with Maxwell 46. Hazelwood a handy 16 at the end, so they put on 30. And gee, the Indian bowling lineup, well, it wasn't pretty. Bumrah got 2 late wickets, 2 for 140. Shami 2 for 86. Kundu was probably the best bowler. Took early wickets. Took 4 for 112, an economy of just 2.29, and Chahar just 1 for 142. So India will need something special to stay in the Test Championship final here. We have 1 session left in day 3 and then 2 sessions to go, but I wouldn't write them off. If they can get 300, set Australia 150 to win, anything is possible. Oh, there's quick, that's gone. Rohit Sharma plumb to Hazelwood. And India bats so quickly as well, so I'm pretty much eradicating the draw, or as an inside edge. But they're already 30 off 6 overs, so they do like to bat nice and quickly. Alright, let's get Paddy Cummins on. And let's just bowl Hazelwood for a couple more. Already eating into this deficit. Oh, that's plumb as well. Vihari thrust the front pad out in front of the off stump. It's another LBW. There are a lot of LBWs in this game. I think it's the proportion is a little bit too high. Kohli comes in, a lot riding on his shoulders in this final. He needs a big innings. What can he do for his nation? Lyon bowling to Agarwal. Oh, he's turned one in. He's got his first wicket of the match. Agarwal's gone for 30. Shreyas Iyer's in. So you've got some aggressive batsmen. Cummins has been smashed. 5 overs for 34 runs. Here's Lyon. Is the second innings. Oh, he's caught. Short leg. Kohli's gone. Lyon's got Kohli. 27 run a ball. A lot on Rishabh Pant now. Or Rishabh Pant. Sorry, I always get his name wrong. Apologies. I always call him Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant. It's one name I always get a little bit confused with. Okay, I'm just going to bowl Maxwell for 1 over. That was the plan, just a sneaky one. And then get Stark on with Hazelwood. Oh, there's an inside edge. The finger goes up. Pants on his way. 5 for 100 India. It's not going to plan. It's going to go to plan a lot better in the India save that I do. Don't you worry. India will be a dominant force in my hands with some better selections. I'm not really sure what was going on with the bowling selection, to be honest. It's not really the pitch for 2 spinners. That's the end of day 3, and Australia still lead by 40. India have 5 wickets remaining. Might just keep Lyon on. He might just toil away from one end, and Josh Hazelwood will look to attack from the other. Let's come on in outside the line. Lyon, it's just gone inside as well. Nathan Lyon doing a good job for Australia. Still don't really know who's going to replace him after. Shreyas Iyer's hold off to long on. Australia's still ahead. Doesn't look like they'll have a very big score to chase. Oh, Steve Smith showed one. It slips. Was it Smith? Yeah, Smith, Warner. Best mates there. First and second slip. Line just keeps chipping away. Let's get Cummins on. That's plum LBW. Alright, we're into the tail. The question is, can India make Australia bat again? Let's get Stark on as well. Full at this tail. Full indeed. Happens so often. That's plum LBW. Oh, how is that not out? Must have just pitched outside leg. Oh, I did. Wishful thinking from me. Pitched just outside the leg stump. Oh, no. Well, that's very strange. How did it struck him outside the line? Looks like it struck him in line if it's going to hit leg stump. That is strange. Very strange indeed. All right, India are ahead, so they will make Australia bat again. Joe Burns gets another opportunity. There's a sneak through to the keeper. Stark's got another wicket, and we're definitely into the tail now. Shami and Bumrah, who did bat well in the first innings, so maybe has justified batting at number 9. Right round the wicket, spear it into the stumps. That's LBW. He does bowl a lot like this in one-day cricket towards the tail. Mitchell Stark, he'll come really, really wide and attempt to swing it around the bat. Kundu's in. We're just about at the end of this World Test Championship. Well, there's an edge for 4 byes. And a caught on a drop. Yep, happens so often. Stark around the wicket, firing it into the stumps. India all out 181. Couldn't quite muster a competitive score. Let's have a look at this second innings. No one really going on. 34, 30, 27. A few starts. Nothing too large. The bowling was shared around again by the Australians. It seems to happen so often. Barely get a fifer with this bowling lineup because they share it around so well. So Mitchell Stark, 14.2 overs, 4 for 34. Hazelwood, 2 for 28. Cummins was very expensive but took 1 wicket for 56. And good to see Lyon amongst the wickets, 3 for 46. Australia require just 23 to win. Let's put the highlights on. Joe Burns just going to be a little bit cautious. And would you believe it? He makes 230 in the first innings, not out, and is gone for a duck in the second innings. Would you believe it? 230 not out, and lasts just 2 balls in the second innings, and Australia are 1 for 2. Nick Maddinson, what can he do? Or gets a rank full toss. That is juicy. That's lunch. I don't know why they would take lunch with just 11 to win. But they have. Maddinson with a 4 deep into the outfield. Just 4 to win. Australia are going to be the World Test Champions. There's the winning run. Hit by Nick Maddinson, of all people. Who wasn't even in the side a few games ago. Australia win. Comprehensive victory by 9 wickets. India just failed to kick on in the second innings and couldn't get Joe Burns out in the first. He is a very deserving man of the match. Bumrah takes 1 in the second innings. Australia are your World Championship, I can't even say it, Test Championship final champions. Here we go. And there's some achievements unlocked there. Finalists and win the Test Match Championship. So here was the series once more. Australia are the inaugural champions. Thank you for watching this Australia series. This is the end of the Australia series. We'll have an all-time India game tomorrow and then on to the India save. Thanks for watching.